Okay. Hi, GDQ. My name is Faraz Khan, and this is my GDQ submission for SGDQ 2020 or AGDQ 2020. Sorry, my mistake. I'll be submitting Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, and the category I'll be submitting for is glitchless all beads and new game memories. I currently have the world record for this category, and the VOD that I'm commentating over right now is my world record run. I've had the world record for over a while now, and it hasn't been taken from me, so I doubt it will be taken. I'm first at 125XX. Infernal Spac is second at 126XX, and then the next time after that is 129. So I will probably have this record for a while. And, well, I'm commentating this now. The way I decided to commentate this is I want to explain the mechanics as we go, because there's a lot of new mechanics in Sekiro. Sekiro is the spiritual successor to the Soulsborne series, Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3, Bloodborne, Demon Souls. But in that, it's also an entirely new game. There's a lot of components that are different, and a lot of mechanics that are changed or improved or whatever. So it's basically an entirely new game. I wanted to explain them as I go so we don't miss what's going on right now in the moment. So with that being said, you'll understand the mechanics as we go. Not everything up front, but as we go. And there's a lot. Anyway, so right now we're in a place called Ashina Reservoir. The reason we're here is, well, we were supposed to save that little boy that we talked to a few times. He's known as the Divine Heir. His name's Kuro, and we're his shinobi. Our name is Wolf. So just as we find him and we get him and we try and get him out of there, we come upon a guy named Genichiro Ashina, and that's who you saw back there. Regardless of if you beat him or not, he ends up cutting your arm off and leaving you for dead, and captures Kuro. And then what ends up happening is there's a guy known as the Sculptor, and that's he nurses us back to health, and we wake up in the dilapidated temple. And he also gives us an arm. He gives us his old arm because he used to be a shinobi as well, and he used to also have one arm. And he no longer wants to be a shinobi, so he says, okay, we can use it. And so, well, what that does is it allows us to use shinobi tools, one of which we picked up just a little bit earlier, and it also allows us to grapple. And so, well, I'll explain shinobi tools in a bit, but here's our first mini-boss. We just killed him. He also gave us our first prayer beat. Anyway, so the shinobi arm, it allows a grapple like this, and it allows us to use shinobi tools. And shinobi tools are basically the way we switch our weapons in this game. We've picked up one earlier, and I think we'll pick up a total of 2 more. But that's what provides weapon variety. Here I went to my menu, I equipped my items, my healing flask, my healing gourd, Gotchin sugar, which I just used, and an homeward idol. So Gotchin sugar, what it does is it allows you to, or it's a stealth sugar. So it makes you harder to see and harder to hear. And because I used it and I snuck up on this ogre, which is, well, the first real mini boss, I was able to get a stealth death blow. Now this ogre is a little bit difficult. So when I'm doing this, I would probably call for hey, serious time, because I believe he has right there that attack. I believe that's the fastest grab in the game, and you have to be watching for it. It's really, really hard to avoid. If he grabs you, he can actually kill you just by throwing you off the level, and it eats up a lot of time as well. All right, ogre's done. I grabbed a gourd seed over there on my way through here. Going to run past these enemies, and I'm going to run past a mini boss as well. So you might ask, okay, well, why are you running past a mini-boss? Don't they drop beads? And isn't this category all beads and all new game memories? And I'd say yes, that's correct. However, Sekiro does something that's really nice. Any boss that you miss, and that is like no longer accessible due to game progression, beads will show up in an offering box near the start of the game. So we take advantage of that mechanic and just get a lot of money to buy those beads that we miss later on. Okay, right here, we're running through... I don't know what this place is exactly called, but it's called, like, I call it Sneck Valley. It's because there's this giant sneck. It's the Great Serpent. You can see him right there. He's trying to eat me. Fun fact about that Great Serpent is that, well, you saw that little hut that we ran by. So that little hut is like a marriage hut. It's where people, I don't know if it's exclusively women or exclusively men. I'm going to guess exclusively women. They go there and they get to marry the snake. And I don't know what happens after that. Maybe the snake eats them or something. But, well, it's a thing where you go and you marry the snake in this game. So whatever happens after that is that's beyond my knowledge. Okay, here is the first actual boss. This guy is named Gyobu Masataka Aniwa. And he's really cool. Now, this boss is not running in the glitch category, and there's a lot of RNG to him. So you'll notice I'm deflecting his attacks, and what deflecting means is I'm blocking them right before they hit. I'm not blocking them, but I'm deflecting. And each time I deflect his attack, that bar in the very top center fills up. Now, that's his posture bar. And basically, there's two ways to deathblow an enemy in this game. There's HP, which is depleting the top left bar, and there's posture, which is filling up the top center bar, which I just did. If you do either of those, you get access to a death blow. And usually bosses and mini bosses have either 2 or 3 death blows before you kill them. So that's what's happening here, which makes Sekiro really cool. You don't just have to deplete the HP. There's lots of different ways to go about actually killing them. So Gyobu here, the reason it's so RNG heavy is because he can just run away from you for a lot of the fight. And there's a few things that will trigger that. Deflecting certain attacks will trigger that. Staggering him will trigger that. There's a few other things that'll trigger that as well, but you have to manage those things and just hope he doesn't run. So that was a good fight right there. We also we killed him in a very good position, right in the corner here, right near the idol. Sometimes he can run all the way across the stage and then you lose about 15 seconds because you have to run back. But that was pretty good. Okay, so what Gyobu dropped, being a boss, is you get his memory. And what memories are for, you can think of them kind of like souls from Dark Souls. You can consume them at a homeward idol, and they will enhance your attack power. So that's really good. That's basically how we get stronger physically in this game. Yeah, and so what else you can do is, speaking of upgrades, is if you consume 4 prayer beads at an idol, it will upgrade your health and vitality. So that's why this is all beads category. They're important. Okay, next mini boss, the bull. This bull is notoriously bad. I'm going to go in, I'm going to do 2 thrust attacks, and then 1 attack, and then I'm going to try and land 2 or 3 more for a stagger right there, right? And so what we're doing is we're trying to hit the head, and we're trying to deflect it so that he stays in one place. And that will fill up his posture meter really, really fast. I did a little jump there to cancel an animation, and then landed a death blow, and that was a good bull fight as well. That bull can eat like 20, 30 seconds if he decides to run around or give you bad RNG. He's notoriously like hard to deflect, and even if you deflect him, he deals chip damage, so he's a pretty dangerous boss. Over here, I'm going to kill that guy quick for a gatehouse key. From there, we're going to make a leap of faith, save ourselves with a grapple, and we're going to go straight to this gatehouse, which we just got the key for, open it up, to grab money as well as our second shinobi tool. So this is Gyobu's broken horn, which we just killed Gyobu. I don't know how his broken horn got there right away so fast, but it did. But we're going to use that later. So we're going to go back to the sculptor later. and have him hook that into our Shinobi prosthetic so we can use it. Not now. Now is our next mini-boss. So as you can see, this game's like full of action. This is our first encounter with the long swordsman type enemies. They're enemies with a special moveset. And, well, a lot of it is their feet. They treat their feet as a weapon, right? And we'll also see for the first time here, thrust attacks and sweep attacks. Now, I think we saw one sweep attack in that fight. So in Sekiro, enemies can attack you with a few different things. They can attack with normal attacks, thrust attacks, grab attacks. I think that's mostly it. Grab attacks you have to dodge, except for one exception. I'll talk about that later. Thrust attacks you have to Mikiri counter, or you can interrupt them with an attack. In most cases, in the case of the Long Shadow Swordsman, yes. And sweep attacks you have to jump over and jump on the enemies. Like, you have to jump off the enemy, if that makes sense. Hold on, I want to see if this is in highest quality. Yep. And so each one of those actions builds posture. And that's another way, like, if you're really good at this game and you hit everything properly, you'll kill bosses faster. Okay, so another mini-boss. Now we're on Snake Eyes. So I'm going to run behind her specific path to get a stealth death blow here. She only has 1 HP left. And now I'm going to use an AI loop. You saw this on the first mini-boss. It's a little bit of an exploit. So if I'm attacking facing away from her, right, she doesn't actually block. She has that hyper armor grab attack, which I can deflect. Only grab in the game that I can deflect, right? But other than that, I'm just attacking and facing away from her. The reason I'm doing this is because since we're very unupgraded and we're a very low level, it's really, really slow to kill her posture-wise at this point, or kill her just regularly by deflecting attacks and stuff like that. So it's much faster just to use the AI exploit. And you can use that in a few other places in this game. I think we'll use it on the other Snake Eyes as well. Right there, I grabbed a sneaky prayer bead. This category has 40 prayer beads, so we get 40 by killing mini bosses, buying some, and grabbing them from just various areas around Sekiro town. Okay, so that was a lot of mini bosses at once. We're finally going to take a break. So in normal runs, if you got this far, you're like, okay, I'm good, I'm happy, because the resets are over, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and upgrade. And we put the upgrades this late in the run for a few reasons. One of the reasons is, well, so we don't have to reset and do upgrades over and over because it's kind of boring. We're killing this toe boy right here. He's actually called a rat, but it's for a side quest. I was hoping for some gotcha sugar there, but I got some contact medicine instead, so that's not good. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and talk to a merchant, buy my last Shinobi prosthetic, which is called the Robert's Firecrackers, and his father will make an appearance later. And then I'm going to talk to the Tengu of Ashina. And the Tengu of Ashina, well, pay attention to his dialogue. Well, actually, never mind. We'll be skipping it. But pay attention to him because we'll see him later in a different form. Tengu of Ashina will be giving us a side quest, and it will be to kill the toe boys or the rats. But it's like, okay, well, we've already killed the toe boys or the rats. And he's like, oh, man, cool. Well, here, thanks, have this. And he gives us the Ashina esoteric text. And so an esoteric text, what it does is it allows us to upgrade our skills. So we get things like ascending carp, descending carp, Mikiri counter, which is super important. Breath of life, all these actual skills we get from esoteric texts. And they're different schools of sword mastery, or just mastery. So he gives us the Ashina style. Now we're going to come back to the sculptor, and we're going to upgrade for the only time we're going to upgrade in the run. The only time we're going to do this is right now. He gives us another esoteric text because he's a nice guy. He looks like a big monkey, but he's nice, and he's going to work on our thing. So we're going to put the loaded spear, the shinobi firecrackers, and the loaded shuriken into our shinobi prosthetic. And then we're going to go talk to over here to talk to Emma. And I believe Emma's the only girl in the game. I'm not 100% sure. The only girl well, no, there's the old ladies too. But what Emma does is Emma basically she acts as our firekeeper per se, and she takes our healing gourd, and as long as we give her gourd seeds, she'll increase the uses of our healing gourds. So now I have, I believe, 3 uses total of my healing gourd, maybe 4, 3 gourd seeds or something like that. That's all the healing gourds will get throughout the run. So if I need more, then I'm screwed. So I have to make sure I don't take too much damage or make too many mistakes. Okay, right there I grabbed something called a Yashiriku sugar. That will act like RTSR mostly. It has my health and it has my posture, but it gives me, I believe, a 20% bonus in attack. I'm going to do a little bit of a skip here. It's called Miss Noble Skip, I think. I don't know. It's very easy to do, and it just saves you about 15 seconds from going around. Here's another mini boss, quote unquote. He doesn't give you a bead, but you need to kill him to go further in this area. This is the Miss Noble. We'll see this enemy type later on. I'm going to grab some more Yashiriku sugar, and then we're going to proceed towards our next boss. We are now in Mibu Village. And so Mibu Village, we're just going to run through. There's a gourd seed here, but we're not going to grab it. I'm going to grab an idol here so I can return here later. But right now, we're just running through. Now, Mibu Village is, like, you can see all the villagers are zombie-like and decrepit and stuff like that. And that has to do with lore reasons. And basically what's happened is they've drank some water and they've got this unquenchable thirst, and it's turned them into these things. And it has to do with Fountainhead Palace, which is, again, another area we'll see later in the game. But the idea behind Mibu Village is, hey, don't drink the water. All right, so we're going to jump into this river. We're going to swim upstream. And then we're going to grapple on this bridge. And you'll say, well, people who know this game will say, but for us, you skipped over it. And it's like, yes, we did, but we will be coming back to Overin later when we're stronger. It just ends up being faster. I'm going to make a fancy jump here off this tree. Nailed it. I'm going to go down here. There's a little jut there that you can catch. It's not good. To get Divine Confetti. Divine Confetti is important because it'll make one of the upcoming boss fights, well, a bunch of them, a lot faster. Going to grab another prayer bead. Going to make sure to grab those emblems and a heavy coin purse. The emblems in this game are what allow me to use my shinobi prosthetics, which I'm equipping right now. I'm also going to equip the snap seeds I picked up earlier, and we're going to do a quick kill on this boss. This is Corrupted Monk. It's a very specific strategy here. So I'm going to snap once, snap twice, then firecracker until I have, I believe, 5 less. Dash backwards towards this pillar, one more snap seed, jump off, and death blow. Really cool quick kill. So what happens there is basically you run all the way around the perimeter of the area so that Corrupted Monk doesn't aggro you, which for some reason she doesn't. And then you use a combination of snap seeds and firecrackers to pull Corrupted Monk back so that you can wall jump off a pillar to land a death blow. Since snap seeds and firecrackers don't cause her to aggro for some reason, that works completely. Anyway, I'm grabbing an item here, which is a story item. We technically don't know we're supposed to get it yet, but we get it now. And we do this early because now we can upgrade. So we have another memory, as well as we can use some prayer beads to upgrade our vitality, which I'm doing now. And we can use the esoteric texts to get Mercury counter, as well as something called Shinobi Eyes, which enhances our Mercury counter, and Ascending and Descending Carp, which enhances our... whenever we deflect attacks, more posture damage will be done to the enemy we're facing. All right. Cool. So, from there, we're going to go back to Ashina Castle. And this was the intended route. Okay? We're going to skip a mini-boss here because we're going to go buy his beat later. I think we skipped 2 mini-bosses here, actually. Yeah, we skipped 2 mini-bosses here. And we're going to go and try and make our way all the way up here, past these kamikaze guys. I'm going to equip the Divine Confetti and the Yashiriku Sugar we got earlier. And then we're going to run all the way around the castle and do something called the Dojo Skip. And the Dojo Skip is, well, you'll see it right here. What we're basically doing is we're sprinting against a wall to get momentum. And then we're jump kicking off a ledge to get somewhere a little bit earlier. This saves us from going through the entire castle and a mini-boss before we get to Genichiro. So Genichiro, this is the guy who cut off our arm at the beginning of the game. He's also the guy who captured Kuro. We're going to use the AI exploit I explained at the beginning of the game on him too. So what I'm doing is I'm facing away from him, perpendicular to him, and I'm attacking the wall. Each time I attack, I'm deflecting and re-attacking so that my attack animation will happen faster. Because of that, he doesn't block. That's not good. So, okay, it's okay. He's still in that jut. Since he's not blocking, he's just taking the HP damage. Pretty simple. You need to concentrate a lot for this because there's a rhythm to it. It's not as easy as it looks, but with the Divine Confetti and the Yashiriku Sugar, it's a lot faster than fighting him normally. He's very passive in his fight, which is slow. Okay, pop a Yashiriku Sugar here, turn around so he misses me, and then here I'm hoping for lightning attacks because I'm going to do something called a lightning reversal. If you jump during a lightning attack, and you press R1 before you hit the ground, you can throw the lightning back at the enemy, which is what I just did. That's what I just did. There was a Mikiri counter. That's another mechanic that drastically increases their posture. And we killed Genichiro. This is technically the second fight, so really good fight there. Only one lightning reversal, but not too many slow attacks. Pretty good. As you can see here, I'm saving a lot of time on my splits. This is the world record run, so these are the splits to go against. After this, we get a cutscene that shows that Genichiro isn't actually dead, and you're like, well, why? I stabbed him like 10 times. Well, three major death blows. And it's like, well, it turns out Genichiro has something called, or has drank the rejuvenating waters, which is a knockoff of what I have. And I'll explain that right now. It's a good time because we're in a dialogue section. Dialogue is interesting because you actually have to, you can't just mash through dialogue, you have to do it rhythmically. So it takes a little bit of concentration. But right now would be a good time for donations too, while I concentrate on dialogue. However, I can also go through some lore stuff. So Kuro, the divine heir, has something called the dragon's blood. That's why he is the divine heir. Okay? As his shinobi, well, I'm sworn to protect him, but at one point I died in the past, and he gave me some of his dragon's blood. So now, whenever I die, I revive, which is the whole idea behind the name. Sekiro, shadows die twice. So I die, I get up, I'm alive, I can keep going, right? And there's no real... It's like... It is kind of true immortality. It comes with some things to it. We're talking to Ishin Ashina right now, who is, he's the guy who ushered in this era. In the intro video, if you watch, he's really cool. He's this badass guy who overthrows the ruling party and he's a really strong samurai. And he also happens to be the Tengu of Ashina, who we saw earlier. So even though he's like 90 years old, he's still, doing pretty good. Anyway, the rejuvenating waters and the dragon's blood. So what Wolf has is the dragon's blood. What the divine heir Kuro has, we just talked to, is the dragon's blood. So everybody's trying to seek this. That's why everybody wants to capture Kuro, because they want his dragon's blood. Now, there's a place called Senpou Temple, which is where we're going right now, which tried to mimic it. They tried to usher in their own immortality. And they created something called the rejuvenating waters. And what they used to do that was, well, they used a bunch of children to do that. And a bunch of the children turned into monkeys. And one is basically known as the Divine Child. And the Divine Child is immortal. Now, there's a bunch of other monks who have experienced the rejuvenating waters that weren't so lucky. And you'll see in this game basically enemies you kill, and they have centipedes in them. We're going to see that more often. And centipedes, I believe, is a sign for a bad omen. But basically, anybody who takes the rejuvenating waters is... I'd have to look into this more, but from my understanding, they are able to live forever, but the cost is a parasite. And that parasite is a giant centipede, which is really gross. And instead of dying, like they stay alive, but I'm pretty sure the centipede just controls them. So we'll see that here and in a few enemies and stuff like that. Yeah. But that's what we're doing now. So we're going to see the Divine Child in Senpou Temple. And the reason we're trying to do that is we're on a quest to sever the chains of immortality, because Kuro doesn't like the idea of it anymore, and we're trying to be good people. So we're going to the Divine Child to get something called the Mortal Blade. And the Mortal Blade, whoever draws it will die. So you draw the Mortal Blade, you will die, right? And that's the whole idea behind it. Earlier, when we fought the Corrupted Monk, we got a stone. I think it was like a wedding stone, something like that. But that was it. All these items, we're going to gather a bunch of items, and it's used in a ritual. And the ritual is to get us to Fountainhead Palace. So that's what we're doing and why we're doing it in the game right now. Now would also be a good time for donations, because I'm running through this area. It looks pretty, it's nice, but there's not too much action going on. Good section. This was a good area. I ran... Oh, just kidding. just kidding. Alright, we made it that time. Great. So, we're going to come upon another mini-boss. And this mini-boss is quite famous. This is Roberto's dad. He's a big armored man. It's a really cool fight. I actually really like this fight. So, he's wearing all this armor, and you can't actually kill him. Right? Even if you get death blows on him, he doesn't die. And he does these big attacks and stuff. But what you have to do to kill him is you have to fill up his posture meter, and then you have to death blow him and kick him off the side. So he fell off there. And then he screams, Robert. Or Roberto. You know, which is what everybody loves. As he falls off, which is... you know what he does. But the story behind him, and I don't understand this, because I really like him, and I feel bad when I kill him, is that, well, he's just there, and he sees you, and he's like, put down your sword, and you're like, no. And then he's like, okay, then we're going to fight. You guys aren't actually hating each other and not liking each other or at odds with each other. You're just, I don't know, you're just crossing the same bridge, apparently. All right, so you saw me dive underwater there. And that's because I have something called the Mibu diving technique. And I got that from killing the Corrupted Monk, right? So that's another reason why we do the Corrupted Monk early, is so, well, it gives us access to other things. So we don't have to come back and get them later. I framed that bomb there right after I popped a Gotchin Sugar. I pop a Gotchin Sugar here, not for these enemies, but for the next boss coming up. The next boss coming up is called the folding screen monkeys, and it's the whole idea of, well, one monkey can't see, one monkey can't speak, one monkey can't hear, but it's made into like a puzzle mechanic, right? So there's 4 monkeys. One's invisible, which you'll see me kill right here. I'm gonna dash back, kill the invisible monkey right there. Since I have Gotchin Sugar, I can sneak up behind this monkey. This monkey is the noisy monkey. He just notifies the other monkeys of your presence. This monkey, I believe, can't hear. Or, no, he can hear well. He can't hear well. Yeah, so what you're supposed to do for that monkey is ring the bell and stun his ears. So no, he can hear really well. So he has really good ears. This guy has really good sight, but really bad ears. So you sneak up behind him, go around back, and give him a death blow. And that's all the folded screen monkeys right there. Generally, this boss fight takes a lot longer, and there's mechanics that you need to do in this boss fight, like opening doors, turning off lights, luring the monkeys into areas where their senses aren't working very well and stuff, but still a cool fight. Here's the Divine Child. She's going to give us the Mortal Blade, which is right in front of her. We're going to go through a cutscene where we open it, we die, we get back up because we have the dragon's blood within us, and she's like, oh my god, that's really cool. And then we say later, and we go back to Ashina Castle. Okay? So, in Ashina Castle, we're going to go and make our way to Gunfort. And so Gunfort is, well, it's a difficult area. And so there have been hitless challenges of this game done. We're going to get some coin here first because we need that money. We're going to see our first headless enemy as well. These things are creepy. They have no heads and they have brutal attacks. They're mini bosses. There's about 7 of them in a game. But they don't give you prayer beads. Instead, they give you reusable sugars. So we don't need to kill them, thank God. And they're really annoying to kill. I don't like killing them. But yeah, we're going to Gunfort. And Gunfort is, well, they have a bunch of guns. And they're constantly shooting at you and stuff like that. So it can be a little bit of an annoying area. There's some RNG in this area as well. Because if five enemies shoot you once, which is very rare, if they shoot you all at once, you're just kind of dead. And it's like, oh, well, that sucks. And if they shoot you while you're over a cliff, then you're actually dead. Because you die and you fall down a cliff and there's like nothing you can do. Grabbing a prayer bead here. Then going up past the ghosty boys. I'm going to homeward idle back to the shrine idol I just got. And that's the reason I got that. That's good. You kind of had to go out of your way from that for that bead, and that's why we do it now. Big leap of faith into a grapple, trusty grapple, freezes my inertia downwards, which is really nice. And here are the gun boys. So I don't like the gun boys because they shoot you, but I'm gonna try and be as stealthy as possible, doing some fancy wall kicks. Not there though. To avoid the gun boys. Right? We're gonna make a tricky jump right here. We're supposed to like crawl across that wall. We're not gonna do it. I'm gonna sit on this branch and I'm gonna pop my last gotcha sugar. Okay, I'm gonna avoid this gun boy down here. And this gotcha sugar, this is used for, well, this is a strat that Infernal Spac taught me. He's in second place on the leaderboards right now. Basically what we do is we pop up here, we crouch and back away right away so that the second Snake Eyes doesn't aggro us, right? So then she'll just turn around because that's what she does, giving us a stealth death blow. Really cool, really nice. Saves us the trouble of the first phase of this fight. So now you'll see I'm going to actually be deflecting her attacks while walking her backwards. Because my deflects do a lot more posture damage than they did before. There she goes. She's done. I'm going to jump off here and grapple while absorbing the coins she has. Because remember, I need coins in this run. I'm going to sprint down this bridge, hugging the left side. I'm going to fall down and grapple, hopefully not getting shot at that small period of vulnerability right there. Another grapple, and I am safe right here. Okay? So they're still going to be shooting at me. But I'm going to be fast enough where it's not too dangerous. I'm running over some firecrackers right now because it's like, oh, alarm system. Right? We're going to turn around here, grab some, well, a heavy coin purse, and run past these thick boys with the spreaders. Grab this idol because we're going to need it later. And then we're going to come across a mini boss, and this is going to be our first centipede giraffe type enemy. Now these guys are interesting. I'm going to throw some firecrackers, use the mortal draw technique I just got from the Divine Child, and then I'm going to deflect each of these attacks. And I need to deflect each of these attacks so that I can get the quicker kill. Another set of firecrackers, another mortal draw. And he gave me the standard attack, so it's not quite as fast. I think I missed one deflect there. You can see how it's a little bit slower. So I lost some time there, but that's okay. He gives us a bead. I absorb his money, and then we go under the floorboards for a little adventure. The reason we're going down here is because it leads to a cave. And of course, in this cave are other centipede giraffe enemies. Why wouldn't there be? But there's also a prayer bead just sitting here, which I'm going to get right now. They're kind of just hanging around it. I'm going to get up to a safe area, and I'm going to homeward idle back to the sculpture I got before the centipede giraffe. Great. Okay. So I got the gun fort key earlier from Kuro, or right beside Kuro, I guess. I'm going to use 4 prayer beads to get my 3rd prayer necklace here, which means 3 health and vitality upgrades. That's actually important. I need to do that for the next upcoming boss, which is the Guardian Ape, which is a boss most people, or a lot of people, have had trouble with. I'm going to jump off this cliff at a very specific spot, because generally what they want you to do, if you saw the trailer for Sekiro, is they want you to run across the bridge, and what happens is the giant snake tries to kill you, and he kills the bridge instead, and you fall way down here into this water. If you don't do that, bulging coin purse right there, and also some more gotcha sugar I grabbed. If you don't do that, it just spawns you back at the top. I got some more Yashiriku sugar here. Because we have the Mibu diving technique, we can dive under and avoid the snake the whole time. Generally, you would have to swim in the water on the surface, and the snake would be attacking you, and it's sketchy, and it's scary, and it's not good. Little jump there to speed things up. And now we're in the Bodhisattva Valley. So you see all these nice statues and stuff. They're pretty cool. There's a bunch of monkeys down here. Some of them have guns, like that one. That one has a gun and a hat. Apparently he likes his hat. He learned how to use a gun. So he'll kind of shoot us with that, which we don't want because it can hurt us and kill us. Loses us time. But we're going to come upon the Guardian Ape. So this is a very specific method for the first phase. Okay, I'm going to pop some Yashi sugar. I'm not going to use Divine Confetti. I'm going to run in here, Firecracker, Mortal Draw as soon as his head hits the ground, do a thrusting charge attack, hit him twice in Firecrackers, and then when he comes up from his animation, hit him twice again, and then twice again, wait for that animation to stop, and there's a death blow because I filled his posture meter, right? Firecrackers do posture damage, which is really nice, and hitting his head does extra posture damage, which is nice as well. Now, if you get him into a stagger animation, you can actually get him into an AI loop, which I used right there. A little bit hard to see, but it was pretty precise. All right, you'd say, hey, the Guardian Ape's dead. That's kind of cool, but remember those centipedes I was talking about earlier? I'm going to buff up and get ready for the second phase. So he's going to scream, but since I used a pacifying agent and a Divine Confetti, I cannot die from that and tank it, which speeds it up. I'm going to try and deflect his attacks here. I missed that one, which isn't good. He's going to scream again. I'm going to run away because I don't have enough health. And I also have some terror, and I'm going to heal. And now we get a little bit of a slow fight. Not the fastest, not the slowest. So I staggered him there. I deflected that attack. And this is an attack you want. Because when he does that, I can hit him twice, use my spear, and pull that centipede out. If you see that, and that deals massive posture damage. Okay, I'm going to hope for a stagger here. I don't think I get it. I do not. I die. Right? So I think if I had hit him one more time, he would have staggered. But this is my first death in the run. And it's not that big of a deal. It gives me a chance to show off mechanics. So when I was talking about the Dragon Blood earlier, and the whole, hey, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, well, that's why it's called Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, because you can die, and you can get back up, right? You get, the way Resurrections works is there's items and there's upgrades and stuff for that, but generally, for this run, you're only going to die twice. Or you're only going to die once, if anything at all, and then you get back up and do more stuff. Anyway, we got the Lotus Flower from the Guardian Ape. The Guardian Ape is not actually dead because the Guardian Ape's immortal. We'll see the Guardian Ape once again later. It's a weird fight. It's a really weird fight. The first phase of the fight is kind of fun. The second phase of the fight, the Guardian Ape can be more passive. So that's why you want to kill him as fast as possible. From that merchant, I grabbed a prayer bead for about 1,400 sen. I have more than enough there. I'm going to eat the Guardian Ape memory here, not pop any prayer beads, and then we're going to go to our next boss. And so right now, Ashina Castle, well, it's changed, and that's because it's under siege. Why is it under siege? It's my sub notification there. Well, it turns out the great shinobi Owl, who happens to be our adopted father, is here to basically try and get the dragon blood from the divine heir. So he's come here, and we're, of course, you know, the divine heir shinobi. So we're supposed to go and, you know, like protect him. That's what we're doing. Happy Croquet, thanks for the sub. So, oh, I made a mistake here. Yeah, I was supposed to go up here. So since Owl is our adoptive father, he took us in. There's a code we live by. And the code is, first, his word is law. Second, the divine heir, who we're supposed to protect, word is law. So what he's doing right here is he's asking us to betray the divine heir. And if you do betray the divine heir, you get the Shura ending or the bad ending. This fight is an AI exploit as well. I'm going to try and get him into this corner, which I kind of screwed up, but it's okay. Yeah. And then we're going to do the same thing we did with Genichiro. We're going to be attacking perpendicular to him, not facing him so he doesn't block, and then he's just going to take the hits over and over and over again. Okay? Which is good. Good first phase. I'm going to run away. His second phase is harder. He, like, pretends to beg for his life, but then he's like, oh, man, I'm a trickster. And and he throws a smoke bomb at you, which is like, oh, scary. But you know, we avoid that, and we do the same thing, and that's fine. It's interesting. So shinobis are, like, they don't necessarily have the whole honor thing. They... Like, the whole samurais are like, oh, they're very honorable. But shinobis, they'll use tricks and whatever to win. Anyway, we kill Owl. And since he trained us and all of this stuff, he's like, oh, that's my boy. Kind of like, hey, you know, you did well as a shinobi. I taught you well and you learned well, which I thought was pretty cool. I really like Owl as a character. He's dead, but we will see him later in the game in a not cheese fight, so you'll be able to see the actual mechanics. We cheese that fight because it's a lot faster, but the actual fight is really cool. It's one of my favorite fights in the game. Anyway, pop the memories, get some more upgrades, and then we're going to go through a very long dialogue section. So in this section, we're basically turning in all the items we got throughout the run to Kuro and to Emma and to everything, so that we can go to Fountainhead Palace. I do have to concentrate during this section so that I get good rhythmic dialogue. So this would be a good time for donations or whatever. It's a pretty long section. It's also where we do the eavesdrop section. So there's 4 different endings in this game. There's Shura, there's Immortal Severance, there is Return, and there's Purification. And the ending route we go for in this run is Purification, because it's all bosses. Or all beads, all new game memories, and you gotta fight mostly all the bosses for that. Or you have to fight all the bosses for that, sorry. But in order to unlock the Purification ending, we have to do... Basically what we have to do is eavesdrop on Emma and figure out what she's doing, and we have to do this and that, so on and so forth. And so, well, to explain how the endings work, well, there's the Shura ending where you betray Kuro and you kill Emma and you kill Ishin, which is not good, and you become a Shura, which is basically someone who just lives for killing and really enjoys killing, and you just kill everybody. We'll fight a Shura actually later on in this run. Then there's the Mortal Severance ending, and what you do there is you use the Divine Dragon Tears, which we get later on in the game, and the Mortal Blade to kill Kuro, and he wants you to, so it's not like you're doing it against his will. And you sever the the dragon blood line, the line of the dragon blood. Then there's the return ending, which involves the divine child, and it's the longest ending, and you have to do a bunch of extra stuff. And what you do there is you don't kill Kuro, but you use the divine child as a vessel. So she basically takes Kuro's spirit unto herself, and then you travel to the west, I believe, to go and deal with the mortality line. So no one dies in that. That's considered the best ending. And then there's the ending we're doing, which is called Purification. And in Purification, you go back into a memory and you learn some things and stuff like that. And you have to do that by eavesdropping. And then at the end of the game, instead of killing Kuro, you kill yourself and Kuro lives. So those are the 4 different ending paths. I like Return the best because no one dies, but Purification is generally good too. And in Purification, you get to see a bunch of extra stuff. So in Purification, you have to do this. You have to go and eavesdrop on Emma. And the reason you have to eavesdrop on Emma is so that you can learn of the alternative solution to killing Kuro, which is killing yourself with this ritual or whatever, right? And so ask what you overheard and stuff. She's talking to the sculptor because the sculptor and her are friends because, well, sculptor, her, and Ishin are all tied closely together for lore reasons because they're watching over the sculptor so that he doesn't turn into Ashura because he's filled with hate. One of the things about the sculptor is he's only sculpting Buddhas because if he sculpts anything else, all he can see is hate. And so there's something festering inside of him. Anyway, we completed the ritual for Fountainhead Palace. So that's where we're gonna go now, and we go there by going into this little hut. And basically, what happens is a big rope boy comes and he grabs us, and then he dabs on a mountain. That's him right there. And I have no clue anything about this rope boy. I don't know why this happens or why he's here. I know nothing about the rope boy. But that's how we get here. And so now we're going to fight the actual true monk. So this is the real version of the corrupted monk. I'm going to do an air mortal blade, which is an upgrade I got. Aerial weapon arts. And then we're going to go through her first phase. So she has 3 phases. The first phase of which we have to just do normally. It's a really cool fight. Really rhythmic. And really nice. There's a lot of attacks she can do. And a lot of different things that she does. Sweeps, Mikiri counters and stuff like that. But generally you just want to fill her posture bar. So we did that. Second phase. Really quick here. I'm going to land a stealth death blow because, well, I know how this game works. And that's second phase over. Third phase is interesting. So you can see the centipede popped out of her neck. She's going to start with a spinning attack. I'm going to dodge the last one, land 3 attacks, firecracker, 4 more attacks, firecracker, 4 more attacks, and we're going to repeat this until she's dead. Right? There's a quick attack she can do here that can catch me off guard, and since I used the Yashi Sugar, it'll one-shot me. Generally, you don't want to die in this phase because she's a little bit wonky and janky. Her third phase is completely different from her first phase. Well, not completely, but a lot different. Anyway, there's True Monk done. Good fight. I'm going to heal once, and then I'm going to skip that idol. Now we're in Fountainhead Palace. Very pretty, beautiful place. It's very nice. And what we're going to do is we're going to skip the entire area and go through it backwards. And the reason I say that is because, well, we're going to jump in this water, we're going to dive quick, and then we're going to get hit by lightning here, okay? But since I healed, I have enough health to survive that. And then I'm going to go straight into the carp cave. There's a big, giant carp here. And it's called the Great Carp, I believe, right? And everybody in Fountainhead wants to become the Great Carp because, well, I think the pot nobles want to become the Great Carp, and we don't get to see them in this run, but I think essentially the Great Carp lives forever. And he tries to attack you and stuff, which is not good, but if you feed him, he's like your friend and stuff, which is nice, and he doesn't try and attack you, so that's cool. But we got past him, and we got past him stealthily and slyly. we basically got to the end of Fountainhead Palace, or like 3/4 of the way through, because what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go all the way around, because anytime you're touching the water, there's a mini boss who has this pinpoint, ridiculous 1,000-mile accuracy with a soccer ball who will throw kick lightning soccer balls at you. Very, very damaging, and she'll usually kill you, so you can't go in the water. So you have to go all the way around, come up here and try and kill her before you can go into the carp cave. But since we did the skip, we don't have to. This is her right now. She's the Okami leader. It's interesting. These guys are all very good at kicking balls, which is it's a cool little lore thing. She dies quick, but she's the one. She stands on her tree, and if you're in the water, she fires a lightning soccer ball at you that you can't dodge. It's kind of ridiculous. Anyway, since we killed her, we can dive deep into the water down here. That's a corpse of a great carp. It's kind of hard to say. We're gonna grab a prayer bead. That's all we came down here for, and then we're gonna book it out of here because there's headless underwater, and underwater headless are also hard to kill and annoying to deal with, and they have ranged attacks and hard hitting attacks. You know. Yeah, so now we're in like the middle of Fountainhead Palace, and the reason we come here is we have to kill one more mini boss before we can leave. And this is a rendition of the Blazing Bull we saw earlier. This is called the Sekiro Bull, right? But there's a cool thing we can do. So we can sneak up behind it, and we can scare it with firecrackers. I hit it once to make sure it doesn't glitch. I'm gonna grab this bulging coin purse and some sugar. And it's going to run itself into a wall because it's scared. And then, hit the wall and knock itself out, and then we can kill the pig, spill its blood, kind of deal. All right, so that's that. We get beast karma from that, from the Sekiro Bull, which gives us more emblem storage, which is nice. And we also get a prayer bead, which is why we came here for. And how? Thanks for the sub, man. Thanks for the 3 months. So,
Lesson 3.
back in Fountainhead, back to the sculpture, yeah. We're now going to proceed towards the Divine Dragon, and of course, this is a lore portion of the. This is you could see this as a lore fight. It's a very cinematic fight. It's not too difficult, but it's a really cool fight. And the Divine Dragon, well, there's a lot of lore behind the Divine Dragon, of course. But it comes in 3 phases. So the first phase of this fight, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to kill this first enemy. I'm going to Mortal Blade the second group of enemies. There we go. Just to kill them as fast as you can, as possible. Because as soon as you kill a few of them, they're going to do this prey animation and summon some trees to attack you from the ground, of course. But what you can do is you can jump on those trees and you can land this death blow, which is kind of cool, and you spin around and you kill a bunch of them at once, which is a lot faster, right? Anyway, I'm not getting the death blow here, which is okay, but I think I'll get it here. I missed those 2 somehow. Hopefully I'll land this one. Great. That's first phase done. Could have been a little bit faster, but no big deal. Not too much time lost. Now we're going to try and get a quick kill on this Divine Dragon. And the way the Divine Dragon works is he'll summon lightning down onto treetops. And so what you have to do is you have to throw the lightning back at him, which will fill his posture bar and deplete his HP bar. You want to do that 5 times, I think. But if you do what I'm going to do next, I think you only have to do it 4 times. So I'm going to bait a specific attack. I'm going to run to the left, and I'm going to Mortal Blade his neck. And then I'm going to throw my shurikens, which were the first prosthetic I got in the game. I'm going to unload all of them on him, just to hopefully hit a certain HP threshold. After that, I'm going to pop an Akko Sugar, which will increase my attack by 10% at no cost. And then I'm going to hopefully throw 3 lightnings back at him. So if I hit the ground there, I would have died. That's 1. He hit me midair, which is okay. That's 2. And there's 3. That should be the phase. Yeah, so that was the quick kill right there. That's also another strat that Infernal Spac taught me. He told me about that, so credit goes to him. I guess there's a reason he's second, huh? And we're in the 3rd phase. So in the 3rd phase of this fight, it's going to be... You're mainly just going to be dodging and deflecting attacks until you get the cue to attack him back. You know? So this would also be a good time for donations. Here's the big attack. Jump. Jump. And then 3 strafes. Now I want to position myself in the center, so I'm ready for this tree here. Right? Because that's the tree the lightning will be on. And he swings at me. I jump way up. And I throw the final lightning at him. Now, if I lock onto his body and strafe a little bit to the left, I can actually get a grapple point. If I go straight towards him without the lock on, that grapple point disappears. So there's a quick attack there. Or sorry, a time save there. All right. So now we're done Fountainhead and we're done the Divine Dragon. And we're in like the final phase of the game. So once you're done the Divine Dragon, what happens is Ishin dies. He dies of illness. And Ashina Castle comes under siege from invaders, from people who would like to overthrow the era and stuff. And so that's where we are now. We'll see that in a little bit. You can tell by the music, but you can't hear it now. Before we deal with any of that, we're going to go and do some cleanup. So I'm going to eat the Divine Dragon memory, and then I'm going to go and kill some other bosses and get some other pearls. Prayer beads, sorry. The first boss I'm going to kill is the double Guardian Ape. And that's the Guardian Ape you saw earlier and his girlfriend. His girlfriend doesn't seem to mind that he doesn't have a head, which is okay. But this is going to be a quick kill strat. So I'm going to pop confetti here and Yashi sugar. And then as I fall, I'm going to hit him twice. And then I'm going to attack him quite vehemently in the crotch. And hopefully, because I have enough damage, I can defeat his first phase before he has a chance to do anything. Second phase, I'm going to immediately jump and Mortal Blade. He ran away. I'm going to do it again. He kind of ran away. That's not good. So there's his girlfriend. I'm going to Mortal Blade one more time because, hey, 3rd time's a charm. And I'm gonna rip out that centipede that was inside of him. His girlfriend is going to get really sad and kind of give up because he's dead. So I don't have to deal with her anymore. And then I'm going to finally kill that centipede with the Mortal Blade. And the Mortal Blade can kill immortal things. That's why, well, that's the whole idea behind it. So that's the end of the Guardian Ape. He's done. He's absolutely gone. And because I killed him, I get 2 prayer beads and I get something called Bestow, which is a ninjutsu technique. And you'll see that I'm going to equip it right here. What Bestow does is every time I land a backstab, I can spend emblems to increase the range of my attacks and my damage. And it's a really, 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 really good skill to have. That's why we do the double ape fight first. All right. So with Bestow in tow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to a mini boss I skipped earlier, way back at the beginning of the game. This is our first run-in with the drunkard enemies. This guy is called Tokujiro the Glutton. He's a chub mother. So what we're going to do is we're going to kill 2 monkeys around him with our shurikens. I'm going to jump up, wall kick and grapple so that I can get a backstab on the gun hat monkey. Activate my Bestow, kill the last monkey, and then jumping death blow on him. And so you'll see my sword's glowing, and it does way more damage than it did before. I'm going to fight him unlocked, and basically I'm going to dodge around him while attacking his back to fill up his posture meter. There's the death blow. Very good Tokujiro fight. So, Chub Boy down. Okay. Now, I guess, well, yeah. Now we're going to go and fight all the gluttons, all the chub mothers. So we're going to fight Shigekichi next, which is probably one of the riskiest and most mistake prone enemies or mini bosses in this run. A lot of runs have died to Shigekichi, so we can stay here and base, well, we can hope that nothing goes wrong, but if I do everything right, nothing should go wrong. So right there I talked to Emma, she gives me a key. It says go after Kuro because Genichiro took him. Ishin's dead on the ground because he died from being old. Well, he died from illness and being old. But I'm going to ignore all that, and I'm just going to run down here. Okay, I'm going to pop my last Gotcha Sugar, as well as pick up another one there. Right, so I have 3. And then we're going to run past all these enemies. They're warring. So these are the Ashina forces and the invading forces. And the invading forces are kind of scary. They hit pretty hard and have rocket launchers, of course. And then there's Shigekichi right down there hanging out. This is going to be a very specific method. I'm going to jump with a stealth death blow. I'm going to dodge backwards. I'm going to spear him twice to remove his armor. That's one of the reasons we get the spear. Removing his armor is good. I'm going to wait here and bait out an attack. Then I'm going to piece and run really quickly down to that little box. And so enemies behind me are firing at that barrel. They hit it again. It explodes. That explosion hits Shigekichi. And then I mortal draw him, to fill up the rest of his posture meter, killing him. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong in that strat, but I'm happy that went okay. That was really good. So good fight, very quick, and we're going to make our way to the Demon of Hatred. And so the Demon of Hatred, if you're paying attention to the lore, is actually the sculptor. So you know how I said earlier how Ishin and Emma are there to watch over him because they like him and to make sure that he doesn't turn into Ashura while Ishin's dead and Ashina Castle is under siege. And, well, the Demon of Hatred, aka the Sculptor, has come into full form. So he's kind of just wrecking everybody, all the mothers around him everywhere. And there he is right there. But we're not going to fight him now. We're going to fight him later when we're a bit stronger, just so it's a little bit faster, because the Demon of Hatred is... it's a long fight. It's a long and it can be... you can lose minutes to that fight, just depending on RNG. However, we're going to go back to the temple, and we're going to use something called the Bell Charm, which we got on the way to the Demon of Hatred. The Bell Charm, when we put it at the Buddha statue, it basically gives us access to one of our memories. So this is the past right now. I missed that jump there, which isn't great, but it's not bad either. And so we're going to go back into a place called the Hirata Estate. And this is the past. And the story behind this place is this is where I die for the first time. And this is where Kuro gives me, the Divine Heir, gives me some of his dragon's blood. And that's how I gain some semblance of immortality. Right? So that's a pretty cool thing. So this is the story behind that. And there's a bunch of mini bosses here and a main boss. And after we do the Hirata Estate for the first time, we're going to come back and do it a different version of the Hirata Estate because it's a memory. So it's a different version of the memory, different person. Shinobi Hunter, we're really strong. We don't need to worry about him. Look at how much posture damage we do. I screwed that up, so we lose quite a bit of time there. But we're strong, so it doesn't matter. But the reason we come back into this memory... Oh, well, I missed the Mercury counter. This is not... Oh, I die here. Oh, wow. So we're losing tons of time here. Yeah. All right. Mortal draw him and he dies. Generally, you want this to be about 20 seconds quicker, probably. You know? But not a big deal. Not too much of a big deal. Anyway, the reason we come back to Hirata for the second time is because it's a different version of the memory, and we actually get to fight Father Owl, which is a boss that we need to fight, and there's other mini bosses, so we need prayer beads and stuff like that, but it's pretty cool. This is another long running section, so donations would be okay here as well. I'm talking to my dad, Owl, right there, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna die, and here, have this key. Go protect the divine heir." And of course, he doesn't die, but we don't really know that. And there's some lore stuff around here about what's actually going on, who's actually attacking Hirata and stuff like that. But I don't know if we have time to talk about that. Honestly, there's a lot of lore to this game. It's kind of cool. And plus, I'm not super adept in the lore either. For certain parts, there's certain parts I'm interested in, but there's certain parts where I could, whatever. All right, I'm gonna jump over this fire here. I have enough health so I could survive it. And then here is another strat Infernal Spac taught me. It saves probably about 10 seconds or something. What we do is we pop a gotcha sugar, we run around the perimeter so none of these enemies hear or see us. Do a sliding crouch, firecracker, so that he's up, and then do a backstab death blow. Then I'm going to go and run around and kill all these enemies because they can interfere, which is annoying. I'm going to vault over, which is an ability I picked up, to do a backstab to activate Bestowal, right? There's a guy back there, an NPC, which you can have help you with this fight, but he's absolutely useless and gets in the way a lot of the time. Usually he just walks around and stares. But with Bestowal and some firecrackers, that's an easy drunkard version 1 fight. So that's Juzel the drunkard. But that fight went well. It could have gone a lot worse. I'm going to sit at this idol here. Just kidding, I'm not. Forgot about that. I must have upgraded already. And we're going to go and fight Lady Butterfly. Lady Butterfly is one of the first bosses in the game. She can be a little bit tricky, and she has a few mechanics that will result in time losses, right? Just a few, but it's basically 2 phases. So not a great attack off the bat. You want to attack her into a rhythm, 2 or 3 attacks, and then parry one of her attacks right there. And if you get this, the fight's pretty quick. If she jumps like she's doing now, it's really not good. You want to throw a shuriken at her in the air if you can. Yeah, so very slow first phase. That's okay. We didn't die. We didn't take any damage. There's a transition time between first and second phase. I'm going to stand right here. I'm going to pop some Yashi sugar at the right moment. She's going to be sitting up there on that statue like the sultry mink she is. I'm going to pop that Yashi sugar and hit her on the way down. And then hopefully we're going to have enough pressure on her that she doesn't activate her phase 2 attack. Is she going to do it? She might. No, I think I got her. Yeah, I got her. So in phase 2, what she can do is she can back up, snap her fingers, summon a bunch of apparitions, and then just hide on like wires in the ceiling. And you just have to sit there and hope she comes down. And it's a massive time loss, but that went okay. So the second phase of that fight went all right. You know? Yeah, so there's Lady Butterfly. Next, we're not going to rest, because that would lose time. We're going to go... Well, we could do a marathon rest if we wanted. Like, there's a lot of safe strats we could do in this run for the marathon, and it would maybe make a minute of difference, if that. So we could rest here if we wanted to. But we're going to go back into Hirata Estate. We're going to go back into a different memory this time. This is using the Father's Bell Charm, Father Owl's Bell Charm. So things are going to be different. So here's Valhan Hirata. Sorry, just kidding. Lone Shadow Masanaga, the spear bearer. The spear refers to his foot, by the way, not something else. And so we're going to fight him. And one of the things he says before we fight him is, "Oh, I thought you were dead." No matter. Well, I guess we'll fight. I'll kill you right here. So he's trying to kill us, and we have 1 flask left because, whatever. So it's a little bit of a dangerous fight, but that's one of the last Vile Hand enemies we have to fight. We're going to sprint through all these enemies, hopefully not get hit or plowed over by the chub boy over there. The chunk boy can absolutely ruin this. What I want to do is rest so that they leave me alone. so that I can eat Lady Butterfly's memory so I'm stronger for these next fights coming up here. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing. Ignore those enemies on my right. Jump over this fire, which you're not supposed to do. I'm going to pop a gotcha sugar. And I'm going to sneak up on Chub Mother number 3, Mr. Drunkard. He's talking with his friend, who's a lot smaller than him. And I'm going to get a stealth death blow. Now what I'm going to do here is, this is kind of cool. I'm going to change Bestowal to Blood Smoke. I'm going to kill this archer here, vault over, backstab him, activate Blood Smoke. So they're like, oh, where is he? I can't see him. Where could he be? Switch back to Bestowal, backstab the Vile Hand enemy, activate Bestowal, and now I can fight Chub Drunkard by himself and in powered up form. He's going to try and grab me, but it's going to be completely okay because I am deft and agile. Just kidding, I'm not. I'm going to die. He's going to step on my toes and I'm going to die. But I'm going to wake up because Shadows die twice. And I'm going to try and finish him off. Cool. Not a bad fight. That strat went all right. I have to make sure to absorb everything, all the money and stuff here. I have about 1,600 sen. Oh, I got skewered. That's something you just can't avoid. These baldy boys are quite vicious. So one thing I haven't mentioned is that I can't really die in this run. In the marathon, I can have some backup strats, but if you die, you lose half your money. And since we need about 9,600 sen total by the end of the game, if I lose 1,000 or so, that can kind of be a big deal. We can still recover it, but it's generally a time loss, if that makes sense. So there's a little bit of tension in this run. You don't want to die, die. You don't want to die twice, because then you lose half your money. So I'm dying once is okay, but dying twice is sketchy. It's not just a time loss, it's a massive time loss. Okay, here's Father Owl, one of the coolest fights in the game. He doesn't know I'm here, so I'm going to sneak up behind him like a good son. And air mortal draw, building up a lot of posture. What I want in this fight is I want that specific sweep attack so that I can do air mortal draws, which are really good. Right? First phase done. Very good. Very easy. Second phase, immediately I'm going to rebuff so that my buffs last throughout the phase. Otherwise, this could be a very long fight. His second phase gimmick is he summons an owl. Who would have thought? And that owl can obstruct your vision as well as he can disappear into that owl. Oh, nice. I did an air deflect there. He disappears. That's one of the things that makes it a little bit slow. I deflect to get a sweep attack, which is nice. He hits me because he's not nice. Dodge at the last minute. Good job. He throws firecrackers here, which is not good. This animation takes long. I'm going to jump over the owl, and then I'm going to Makiri counter him, which, well, the game kind of glitched out. And you see here how this is taking a lot of time. If I landed one more mortal draw, he would have been dead. So we're losing about 20, 30 seconds here. Dodge out of the way. He disappears again. My buffs have run out. But there we go. We deflected his last attack, filled up his posture meter, and he's dead. So not the fastest fight. We lost about 30 seconds there. But that could have gotten a lot worse. We didn't die, which is really good. Yeah, really, really, really good. So that's like the hardest fight, the hardest section of the game done. Hirata Estate is a pretty hard section, especially since it comes late in the run. So if you have a good run, there's a lot of pressure. I'm going to eat Owl's memory, and then I'm going to go back to the Demon of Hate. And we're going to fight the Demon of Hate. In the glitchless run, they don't fight this boss, so... Sorry, in the glitched run, they don't fight this boss, but in the glitchless run, we do. It's a cool fight, and I like it. But there's a lot going on, and it's a long fight. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to backstab this guy at the latest possible time I can to activate Bestowal. Right? And then I'm going to pop a Yashi Sugar, and I'm going to lay into him. So this fight, you don't really You don't usually fill up his posture meter, but with Bestol, I might be able to. What I want to do is I want to always be strafing him. I got a stagger there, which is really good because it allows me for like 6-7 Bestol attacks. Deflect his big stomp, hit him in the head. First phase done. Really good first phase right there. Really good first phase. His second phase, he's going to start off invulnerable. I'm going to use that time to heal. As soon as he steps up, there's going to be a big smoke cloud that pushes me away. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to be strafing into the right. If he does a sweep attack, I obviously have to jump. That attack, you have to strafe and grapple to him. Run away and grapple. He's a big boss. So the very fact that you grapple to him is kind of cool. Deflect that. I think a headbutt is next. Yep. Deflect that. Hit him in the head for more posture damage. And then what I want here is I'm hoping that he'll stay here. I'm going to do some Mortal Blades maybe. Nope, just kidding. I want him to stay in place. I don't want him to run away. Because the more he runs away, the more time we lose. Right? So if he just does attacks like these, that's what we want. Okay, I decide not to... There. So that's really not good. You want to book it to him as fast as possible. Because if you hesitate even for a second, well, hesitation is defeat. There's my Mortal Blade. He'll actually hit you with that attack and you'll have to back off. So now we're in third phase. And third phase starts off with a big fire circle. I have him in a really good position. I have his back to a wall and his front to the castle, which means that even if he jumps away, he'll likely get stuck, which is good. Really, really good. You want him in this position. Doing some air Mortal Blades here. Okay, I have to make sure I don't die. Just, okay, well, good job by me. Third phase, he'll do 2 rush attacks, so I wait to get up. Deflect the head slam, headbutt. Then run away, make sure I don't get hit by that big explosion. I healed for safety, and that's Demon of Hatred right there. Good fight. Pretty good fight. Yeah, so that was a quick fight. As you can see on the splits, I saved 1 minute and 30, or 1 minute and 15, around 1 minute and 15 on that fight. That could have even been faster. Yeah, that could have been even faster. So, good fight there. I like that. All right, after Demon of Hatred, now that we're all strong, we've got all the memories we've gotten except for Ishin. I'm going to go and do some more cleanup. So I eat the demon memory. We're going to go back and kill some mini bosses and get some beads. I think we get 4 total before the next section. Gentripede Sen-un is in Senpou Temple. We don't fight him the first time through here because we're quite weak and he'll take a while. And the time lost from coming back here is less than the time gained from all the strength we got. So I'm going to do a jump attack. I'm going to miss the death plunge. It's not a big deal because we're super strong. Look how much posture. The posture meter fills up. I stab him through the neck, which is, you know, not nice, but it's necessary. And then we're going to get another death blow there. I accidentally vaulted over, so a little bit of time loss. His little centipede friends or children or homies are going to throw fire at me, but I'm going to run away and homeward idle out. And then we're going to go kill Orin. So Orin is one of the mini bosses that we skipped in the beginning of the game. It's a mini boss that we have a lot of trouble, or generally people have a lot of trouble with. She has a really, really cool attack pattern to her. And I don't know. I like Orin. So, you know, but before we do that, we're going to come back here. And since we come back here with the Mibu diving technique, which is what we get after we kill the corrupted monk, we can go underwater and get a prayer bead, which is like, oh, prayer bead, I'm going to homeward idle, which is, of course, going to make the fish disappear. Why that happens, I don't know, but they vanish off into non-existence. which is a nice thing. Infernal Spack's wife is packing a bag as we speak. Apparently she's going to leave him if I take his record, which I did. Joke's on me, he doesn't have a wife. Okay, Oren, so we jump in, we do a double Mortal Blade. In the glitched run, you can actually deathblow her right off the bat, but in glitchless you can't because it's run on current patch. Nice. Really cool attacks here. So instead of jumping off her head when she does the sweeping attack, I'm doing a Mortal Blade. Miss a few of those. Good. Decent Oren. Decent Oren. Right there. So not bad at all. Okay. Now we're going to go through the last mini-bosses and bosses of the game. The last stretch. And these ones are a little bit tough. These ones are a little bit tough. The first one is going to be the Ashina Elite. So, when we went down to Shigekichi, we skipped the Ashina Elite. But now we're going to fight him. He's a very high damaging mini-boss, and he has basically 3 attacks. But his main attack is going to be, I believe it's called Ashina Cross. And it's the cool, like, where he has his weapon sheathed, and he draws it really quick, and it destroys you. I'm going to pick up a Yoshi Sugar here, and I'm going to run all the way to this wall. I'm going to do a sliding crouch, and then I'm going to run all the way back, because that causes him to de-aggro. Get a stealth death blow. His eyes are red, because, well, that means he's weak to fire, actually. Mortal Draw here. And then, as soon as his weapon flashes, I'm going to deflect twice. Very good kill. Good fight there. Very good fight. I think there are 2 more Ashina Elite type enemies in this game, but one we skip early on because we just buy his bead later. And, well, no, sorry. There's just 2. One we skip earlier. Now I'm going to fight the last Vile Hand enemy. I'm going to crouch and kill his friend, who's just hanging out in the corner, watching him, creepily. And then, with Bestol, what I can do is I can actually just R1 spam through most of his attacks. Most of his attacks, which is really nice. And it builds up his posture as well. So that's him done. That's his first life bar, actually, sorry. In the glitched run, what you can do is you can quit out after you kill his friend and land a stealth death blow, but you can't do that in glitchless because no quit outs are allowed. Alright, another prayer bead there. What we're going to do is we're going to come back through the castle. In the old route, we would have done this at the very beginning. I do this to go through a hidden wall to grab a prayer bead as well as a heavy coin purse. Yeah, so there's the heavy coin purse right there. There's the prayer bead. I need to grab those because this is all beads, so if I don't grab those, this run doesn't count. I'm going to shimmy across this pillar and then drop down for a stealth death blow on the second chained ogre we fight. And so here, I need this ogre to kill at least one of these guys, and I'm going to try and land a death blow on the back of the second of this guy, right? Just for bestowal. The reason I need the ogre to kill one of these guys is for the money. They drop a lot of money, and I need money. I dodged that just barely. I gotta remember to pay attention and make sure not to get grabbed. I walk around him and I death blow from the back because that's actually 3 seconds faster. Gather the money, get the bead, and we're on the final stretch of the game. This I shouldn't be messing up, but I do. Probably about 10 seconds lost there, not a big deal. We're gonna fight one of the hardest mini-bosses in the game, the second rendition of 7 Spears. So he has a friend behind him. He's the sword boy, and I don't know why, but all the mini-bosses, when they come in pairs, they never really are talking or looking at each other. They just kind of hang out together facing opposite directions. That's exactly what's going to happen here. So I'm going to pop a Gotchin Sugar. I'm going to Death Blow his friend. He's going to wake up, but I have Bestowal. And the great thing about Bestowal is same thing. I can pretty much R1 spam through all of his attacks. There's a few I can't, and I just have to watch for them. Like that one. See? Hyper Armor. But pretty easy otherwise. He hits super hard, so I think he can one-shot me at this point. So I do have to be careful here. But this is our very last mini-boss. Right? So we're coming towards the end of the run. Things are kind of going okay. Really nice, actually. Good fight. Good position to end in. And I'm going to make my way to the final boss of the game and the final boss of this run. And that's going to be Ishin Ashina. And so he's really cool. The fact that he's the last boss, I think, is really, really, really cool. I'll explain as we get there. So he's like the, you know, he's the man. He's the super cool samurai that helps you along your journey, and he's just always been really cool. Anyway, turns out Genichiro has captured Kuro, so we're going to come save him for the third time. I'm going to Mortal Blade right off the bat to stop his own Mortal Blade, because it turns out there's actually two Mortal Blades in this game. One is... Oh, I'm going to die here. Yep. One is the Mortal Blade I'm using, and the second Mortal Blade is different. It's what he has, and the second Mortal Blade, what it does is it allows you to summon one person back from the dead. And so that's what happens here. Genichiro gives his own life to summon his grandfather back, Ishin. And this is Ishin in his prime. So this is the Ishin Ashina when he was a lot younger. Which is why the outfit has changed. So his first phase is really cool. It's very rhythmic and deflect heavy. If I can, I do air mortal blades. If I can't, well, that's fine. It's quick anyway. Second phase, he takes out this big spear, right? And this is where things get tricky. A lot of people have trouble on this phase because a lot of his attacks have hyper armor. And so generally, what you want to do is you only want to hit him once. There's the barrel combo. I got lucky and he missed. Not a very good performance by me. Generally, I can do this fight hitless. And it's really cool to watch hitless. I really like it. But good second phase. Into our third phase, he's going to start doing lightning attacks, which of course we can reverse. And that's what we want from him. Because, very good RNG. Because that's what depletes his health and increases his posture meter the most. So when he's not doing lightning reversals, I'm going to attack, deflect, attack, deflect, attack, deflect. Go to lightning. So that's good. And that's third phase Ishin done. So that's GG. That's pretty much the run there. However, that's the run in terms of bosses. We need to do one more thing before it's over. And so he admits defeat and he's like, hey, kill me in an honorable way. You can see his feet there. He's barefoot. And you're like, okay. And as he dies, he says, well done. Which I think is really, 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 really cool. And I don't like killing Ishin because I wanna just hang around him because he's cool. Anyway, we find Kuro laying in the grass. We probably stepped on him several times during that battle. He doesn't seem to care. So with that, we give him the Divine Dragon Tears and the branch we got from Father Owl. And that activates the purification ending. But we're not done yet. We find ourselves back in the dilapidated temple, and we do not start new game +2. Instead, I use all the bulging coin purses and all the heavy coin purses I got throughout the run. And I have 9,400 sen, which is 150 short. So I sell an item to get 9,700, and with 9,600 sen, what I can do is I can buy the prayer beads from all the bosses that we skipped throughout the run. And as soon as I quit out, that's time. And so that is the Sekiro glitchless, all beads, all new game memories, world record right there. And here's my commentary for that. There's a lot to talk about, and I can commentate while I play. I just wanted to make this video quick and submit it for GDQ. So hopefully you like the run. Hopefully you like me. I think I will submit a few other games to GDQ. There should be some incentives I can do for this run as well, like incorporating headless enemies or things like that, doing different endings or watching certain cutscenes or doing fights hitless, things like that. Like, you know, there's a lot that we could do. So, well, GDQ, I hope you enjoyed my run, and I hope yeah, I hope to do this run for a bunch of other people on the GDQ stage. I will be submitting this though, so hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and that's the world record right there. So that's pretty good. Whew, that was a lot of talking.